Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Creighton Show. Another exciting show and definitely another exciting guest. Today we're gonna talk to a beautiful young lady named Teri Kreider. Let me tell you where we're going today. When I talk about that beast mindset, damn, you can't get no better than this one right here. So this is definitely a must see. Imagine 6.5 weeks ago, getting full hip replacement surgery and lumbar surgery at the same time on L4, L5 of your spine, and still keeping that beast mindset intact to keep helping other individuals over 50 be inspired to stay health conscious. That's crazy. I thought I was the only one that can come out of surgery and in a couple of days get to moving around, but this lady has me beat. Let's welcome to the show, Teri Kreider. What's up, baby girl?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about this beautiful name. Asian Maven. Is it Maven?
Maven, Maven.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Tell the viewers what that means. Now we know
Well,
you're Korean, correct?
yes, my mother is full Korean and my dad is white.
And what does the name mean? Tell me the Asian Maven. What's that? Where'd it come from?
Well, we came up with that name when I have my own business for teaching CPR and doing carry with permit for concealed permit carry, and Asian because I'm half Asian and I go by that as my ethnicity. And then the Maven part was kind of like you're a expert at something, so that's where we came up with that name, Asian Maven, for my business, and then I just use it on my platform as well.
Let's go back. Let's go way back. Tell the viewers a little bit about who you are. You're actually my first beautiful lady from Korean. You're my first Korean descent on my show. Wow, congratulations, my first. What? Tell me a little bit about you. What's that? What's that like? And let me go here. The universe does things for a reason. My first encounter with the Korean nationality was, naturally going to get my, pedicure and manicure done. And that's the first I've ever, you don't really know much about the culture. Tell me a little bit about who you are in the culture, how you got to the United States and so forth.
Well, my mom came here when she was 22, and then she met my dad here. My dad was in the Secret Service at that time, so they didn't meet via military. My dad was in the Air Force, but he was in the Secret Service when they met here in Virginia, up north. And then they had me and my two brothers, and I grew up speaking English. My mom wanted to teach us Korean, but we didn't want to learn. We just wanted to go out and play. So I kind of smacked myself because I wish I would have learned Korean, but I didn't. I just, know some bad words and stuff like that, but I don't speak it. It's her first language, but not my second language at all.
How was it? How was it growing up for you in
It
the
was
States?
pretty normal. I mean, we lived up in Northern Virginia, and my dad was in the Secret Service, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So me and my brothers, we just grew up playing sports the whole time, and middle school, high school, just playing sports. And then when I graduated high school, I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. So then when I turned 21, I followed in my dad's footsteps and joined the Secret Service Uniform Division. And that's where I became a firearms instructor, and I did recruiting. So I traveled around the U.S. doing recruiting for the Secret Service Uniform Division, which people don't know about. They just think special agents and, talking into the wrist, protecting the president, right, as the first line of security. But the Uniform Division, well, actually now they call it the White House Police. That's what I was. So we are kind of more the perimeter of the Secret Service branch. The special agents are more right around the president.
Wow, that's crazy. My cousin, that's what he did.
Oh yeah, he was an agent.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't talk about it much. It was kind of like, oh, he's an agent, works guards the president. That's all we knew. Nobody really asked a lot of questions about that, but I'm curious.
Hmm.
So, what was that like for you being in the Secret Service? I mean, we hear, like you said, only one area of it, but there's multiple areas. Like, what
Yeah.
was a normal day like for you?
Well, I did a lot of different jobs because I can't just do one job. I get bored really easy. Like I'm probably gonna have to stand up during this interview because I don't sit much at all. But I moved around. So I started as doing the perimeter post, like standing post, like the front of the White House, doing the foot beats. And then I got into tours for a little bit and I didn't like working the daytime shift. So I went into the midnight shift and worked the command post where they do the dispatching over the radio. They do the NCIC checks on people they stop on the streets. They do the alarms. If someone jumped the fence, I would hit the alarm. We monitor, the whole grounds up there in the control center. And then I wanted to be at the academy to be the physical fitness trainer there, but the guy wouldn't retire. So I was a firearms instructor for a while because everybody that goes to the academy to teach has to be firearms trained because that's the biggest pool that they need training on out there. Like driving was a small part, defensive measures and tactics was a small part, physical fitness was a small part, but firearms was huge. But then when the guy finally retired, they called me up and I turned down the job because I had moved an hour away from the academy. So DC was 30 minutes away. So I chose to stay there at the range that people qualified in every month until I quit right after 9/11.
Man, that's crazy. So you're walking around in the White House next to the
Mhm.
what president was in office during your time of service?
I was with Clinton and then Bush too.
What in the heck is that like to go to work every day knowing they're in this house where you work?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. The best part that I had was with Bush. I guess it's George W. Bush, when he was out on the South Lawn. Like, we're not supposed to talk to them at all. We're only supposed to talk to them if spoken to. But I said something about his dog because he was the owner of the Texas Rangers at the time,
Yeah.
or he was, and Scott Fletcher was the shortstop. And I knew his dog's name was Spot Fletcher. So I had sent that to him, and he was really nice. He was a really nice guy. But Clinton, I never had any dealings with him at all because I worked the midnight shift. So I really didn't see the president's coming and going much because I worked from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Man, that sounds so freaking cool. So
Yeah.
being in charge of the White House, let me get this straight. Make sure I'm cool with my facts. If something illegal takes place in the White House or on White House lawn, it's no longer it's a different jurisdiction. Am I correct? Like it's not.
Well, it's federal.
Yeah.
If it's, yeah, federal. So, because we had the Washington Metropolitan Police Department, like around us, but we had the grounds, the new executive office building, the old executive office building, and the Treasury Department and the Blair House we had control over. And then Foreign Missions Branch, which is another branch of the Secret Service Police,
Mhm.
they controlled the chanceries and the embassies. So the streets of DC, they controlled that part.
So
But
how
they'd work together with Capitol Police and Metropolitan as well.
about how big is the perimeter that the Secret Service actually operate
So
in Washington?
all I know is when I was there was 1,200 employees only in the uniform division or the secret. Now it's called White House Police, but and then there was some down in Glencoe, Georgia, where the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center is. There was a couple Secret Service employees down there, but agents are around the world. Secret Service police are only White House and foreign missions. So the chanceries and the embassies, the streets that they protected, and then just the grounds of the White House, the NEOB, ODOB, and the Treasury Building and Blair House. So not that big in
Right.
the White House area, but
Let's talk about being Korean and getting your foot in the door.
it
Because
helped me.
at
And my
least you're
dad. But I
honest.
did have to pass. I did have to pass the polygraph. I had to pass the written test. So those weren't easy. I don't wish anyone a polygraph to be taken. It was pretty rough.
what
Well,
was it like as a woman, and in a woman of a different nationality getting into the Secret Service and staying in for such a long time? Were there I don't want to use the word discrimination, so to speak, but I'm pretty sure at that time they probably had that mindset like a guy that you can't do this, you can't do this, and you can't do that.
right. It's changed so much. When I got in 1995, it was probably 20% women already. So it was pretty a big number than what it was when my dad got in 1970. 1970 was probably 1% or 2%. I don't even know what the number would be, but now it's so many. Like they have the emergency response team and the counter sniper team, which are the agents have the counter assault team. I don't know if there's any women on the counter assault team. I probably there are now, but on the emergency response team, when I first started, no women at all. When I quit and left, lots of women on that team. And I'm not sure if there is any counter sniper women, but on the emergency response team, they are. And they're the ones that hold the MP5, like the machine guns, and they're in the black SWAT uniforms and everything. So I know that there's women there, there's women on the K9, there's women. So being a woman, it helps you, but you still have to be good. You have to pass, you have to, maintain that, um, the status, I guess. They just don't let you in because you're a woman. You have to still be to a standard.
What were some of the toughest things that you had to do while you was um, involved in that your peers probably felt you couldn't do? It's almost like the Silence of the Lamb type situation where Carice goes into her field and they're during training they know she can't do it, but there was a moment where she had to overcome something when she walked through the door and the guy says, "Where's your checkpoints?" And said, "Did you look behind the door? Well, that's why you're dead." What were some of the
Yeah.
things that was difficult for you to overcome? That and even
Mm,
as being a woman, you look back and say, "Wow, I really overcame that."
well, I would probably say the firearms part of it, because firearms, a lot of women are just, oh, guns, they scare women and everything, but just I was a natural with the gun, so just being an expert and in the academy, I was in the top of my class, and then when I went to the firearms academy, I was in the top of my class as well with shooting, just very precision shooting. So probably the shooting part of it, and it was rough with the shotgun though. We had to shoot the shotgun with slugs. And when I was in the academy, I was 22 years old, and it hurt to the point where I had bruises on me from that shotgun. It wasn't the buckshot that hurt; it was the slugs.
Wow. Tell me one of the most interesting moments of your career. Give me three, because I mean,
I
that's
got to go back.
crazy.
I got to go
You
way
ain't got to go
back.
back that far,
Mhm.
man. You're not old.
No, but that was 30 years ago.
Your mind is as sharp as a tack, or you wouldn't have been a Secret Service agent.
Let me think. Secret Service. Gosh, killing me. Well, after 9/11, I guess it got really bad because I was an officer. Actually, I was a technician at the Firearms Academy, and they started canceling everybody's days off, overtime like crazy. Um, During 9/11, actually, I was on a recruiting detail in Greensburg, North Carolina. So that was really tough because I didn't even know what happened until noon. I was in a recruiting thing and I just noticed everybody on the phones. I'm like, what is everybody doing? Once I found out, I immediately called my husband because he was a counter sniper, my ex husband, and he was driving into the White House with a big mushroom cloud, um, which was, I believe it was the Pentagon. So he was driving into work. I was stuck, dog at home in a crate. I rented a car because all flights were grounded, rented a car and drove 5 hours back home because he had to stay at work. And just imagining the guys that were up on the White House roof, the snipers at the time, because the snipers were always on the roof if the president was in the house, and seeing the planes go by. So I got home, and then just everything that they increased the manpower, but they increased more posts, more perimeter posts, outer perimeter posts. And that's when I just decided to resign, because it was just too much. And he was working and traveling so much that it was just not good for my dog at home, which was my child at the time. So,
When you, and let me first of all say thank you for your service, not only to the world, but to guard our president and the people who defend this country and protect this country. Um, that was probably your first actual encounter with something of that magnitude. I can see it being a life altering situation, but when that happened, what were some of the things that was going on with your fellow coworkers? Because it's different when you're going to work every day to guard the president, but to be put in a situation where we had an act of terrorism and people are dying and jumping out of buildings and the attack on the Pentagon and all this,
mhm.
I think reality now begins to take a shift because do they even train you for acts of terrorism that can happen to this country?
Yeah, well, we take that oath. Like, that's why the background check and the polygraph are so extensive, because we're there to protect the president and first lady's life with our life. So we're that kind of last line of not last line, first line of defense to get in there. So the guys up on the roof, and we have to, you know, throw ourselves and just be in the line of fire. Just
I can see that that was a real impactful moment just with your body
yeah.
language. Um, I'm
Well,
gonna
that
say,
one plane that went down in Pennsylvania, it was either going for the Capitol or the White House. I'm
yeah,
like pretty sure.
I can't remember which plane it was where the guy was talking on the airplane, the civilian. This is so tripped out. I was at his funeral.
Oh, really?
I had
Yeah.
no idea. I'm gonna tell you a short story what happened. I was at my friend's house and I said, I'm gonna go to this. Some just said go to this church. I just was having a moment and I noticed there was a church service going on. And I walked in and sat down and I saw this guy's picture in the front, right? But I'm not really adding the pieces together. They played the audio tape from that moment and his wife and stuff came in. Man, I was at that guy's funeral.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think that was the one that went down in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Was it
I was like,
when
wow,
they?
that I mean, I remember when that happened. I was a school teacher and one of the teachers called me and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm getting ready to go back to Indianapolis because it was I only worked 4 days out of the week as a teacher and I went back to Indianapolis." And I said, "I'm watching something on TV. It looks like something hit a building." And she was like, "Andre, we're under attack." And I can just imagine how I felt with tears in my eyes as I'm watching this. But now you being called to duty along with your husband, going into uncharted waters and not knowing if you or your husband are going to come back because you got to serve this country.
Yeah, I actually live with I in my neighborhood. I live in a 55 and older community here in Nexton, and two of my good friends were firefighters in New York City. So
Really?
they've suffered a lot of health problems and PTSD and all that. So it's very sad to just know how many people are affected and how it impacted their lives. It's just horrible.
When when that was when that was going down, did you and your husband, you evidently you and your husband sat down and you talked about it. How did he feel about you walking away too?
Well, just horrible. I mean, he knew he had to be there. He couldn't not go to work. So it was just doing his job the best that he could and traveling. And I mean, everybody just picked up and went day by day after that and praying that nothing ever like that ever happens again in our lifetime or anybody's lifetime.
Did you and your husband just sit down and talk about your decision to leave?
Yeah, we talked about it, and it was fine that I could go part time. And I just went. That's when I went into fitness, teaching, training, and managing fitness. But I had gotten my love of fitness in the Secret Service because they certified me as a personal trainer through the Cooper's Clinic of Aerobic Research in 1996. So that's what
Mhm.
I knew what I wanted to do, kind of for the rest of my life, is just fitness.
Now let's go here. Let's talk about 6.5 weeks ago. Hip replacement, spinal fusion. How in the heck did all that take place for a
Well,
woman who is physically fit, jumping up and down, running through the White House, running on the White House lawn?
yeah, that was when I was 22. Now I'm almost 54. But the hip replacement was last year, but I was 100% at 8 weeks. They did the anterior approach, but my lumbar discectomy fusion, they cut me open in the front about 4 inches. I would show you, but I don't want to freak you out. And then they did the back incisions too. So I have a, a slice about that wide on my stomach from going into the front, moving my peritoneal sac over and then getting to the front of my spine. And then they went in through the back as well. So it was like an anterior and posterior approach for that.
What did you have that required a spinal fusion? Spinal
So
fusion.
that I had spondylolisthesis, which is a slip bone. Then I had degenerative disc, bulging disc, degenerative facets, lots of arthritis, spondylosis, some stenosis. So, and when I went to go get my lumbar epidural, like a month before my surgery, that I had to do that first. The doctor looked at me and he said, "What did you do? What did you do to deserve so much arthritis?" And he said, "Did you do gymnastics?" And I was like, "No, I just a lot of high impact stuff. I mean, I taught cardio kickboxing for 20 years. I did a lot of plyometrics, sports, and then they said the doctor said overuse. So
How-
lifting heavy, I lifted heavy, I squatted heavy, I deadlifted heavy, I benched heavy.
Now, was all this part of being in the Secret Service?
No, I started lifting weights when I was 19, and that's when I really got addicted to lifting weights. And then I started lifting heavy weights when I was 35.
Wow. Now, some
Yeah.
people would say lifting strength training and lifting heavy is good for women, but
Yeah. I don't know. I
moderation
mean,
moderation is good, not heavy. Moderation
yeah.
is good.
I mean, I didn't lift heavy all the time, but then I had a bad rollerblading accident in 2008 and I fell on my left glute and I had a giant hematoma and it was really bad. That might have been part of it.
It sounds like you just ready. Sound like you just like adventure. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, you don't know. Also, I worked in a prison in California for 2 years,
Okay, wait a minute. Now, who was
a male
locked up?
prison.
Who was the most famous locked up person when you was working there?
Nobody was famous, but they had a murder right before I went there, and it was a pretty bad murder.
Is it something that I would know if you said it?
No, it was the Solano State Prison in Vacaville, California. So that's up near Sacramento.
Yeah.
And they created a diversion. The guy killed his cellmate. He sliced him open with, oh gosh, what did he slice him open with? Something. Drained all his blood and some of his organs in the toilet, flushed it down, folded his body in half, and stuffed him in one of the big trash cans. So they created a diversion which caused a, what's it called? A riot, basically. Shut everything down, put everybody in their cell. Then when they did the count, they were missing one guy. They looked and looked and looked, and then they found him in a trash can where the showers are. Yeah, pretty bad. But
And you wanted to work there?
yeah, I found out that that's a prison I was going to. So the cells were all blocked off with like that tape because I would go in that building. We went in that building, and when I left there 2 years ago, 2 years after, it was still like blocked off.
Okay, I just got to ask this question. Do you just like adventure?
Well, I wanted to work at a prison because I kind of see the good in everybody and I want to make people's lives better, even though I didn't let them manipulate me or I didn't, do anything that I'm not supposed to do. But I was kind to them. I was nice to everybody. And I always wanted to work in a prison. People are like, you're crazy. But I did. And the only reason I quit is because I really didn't want to work full time. I never really wanted to work full time.
Let me get this straight. You was going to see the guy who killed the guy or the guy who got killed?
No, I wasn't going to see him. I was in the academy when that happened, but
Oh,
that's
okay.
the prison that I went to, and the cells were still blocked off with tape, and nobody was housed in that cell.
Man, that's crazy. Any other
Interesting.
interesting things I should know about your career?
Yeah, I went, they asked me to be on the hostage negotiation team, so I did that. But right after I graduated the academy, I quit.
Now, why do you think they asked you to be on the hostage negotiation team?
Because I was older at the time. So it was actually 20 years to the date of my Secret Service Academy
Yeah.
to the Correctional Academy. So I was 42 when everybody else was younger. So I was one of the older ones, but I was a good shooter. I was physically fit. So the lieutenant asked me and I said, sure. And I did it. And it was fun. I mean, it was great training, combat shooting and learning like negotiation skills at the academy. It was like a 2 week training, but 24 hours. Like we got, woken up in the middle of the night by a cell phone to like get on your gear and get out there. So it was pretty fun.
So you're tell me about the negotiator. What part did you like?
I mean, just the talking part of it.
You don't shoot ever talking.
I was losing you a little bit.
What about now?
Yeah. Good.
Well, one, two, three.
There.
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So my question is, negotiator. I saw the negotiator.
Yes.
Do you like the talking or you like carrying the weapon?
I like the talking part
Why?
because you just really try to get that person to relate somehow. I mean, you talk about their kids or you talk about their dog and just kind of get them to think that, they really don't want to do this if they're going to jump off a bridge or something.
Let me go here. You done so much. 6.5 weeks ago, you was up under the knife. Man, I can go on with this. I got to ask this question. Which term was you working with Clinton? Was it his first or his second round?
It was Clinton's only, and then it was Clinton. Did Clinton work two
He
or
did too.
one?
Did
He
too.
did? Okay, so it was the second one. So 90, I was there 1995 to 2002.
Wasn't the second one the Monica Lewinsky?
Yes. So I wasn't involved in that, but my ex-husband actually got called to be interviewed because he was at one of the entry posts when she came in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I know you can't.
But
I know you can't give us the
that's
fine.
all. I mean, he didn't have anything. She had came in at night. I think it
I
was
mean,
night. I'm
when
not
you
sure.
when you go home at night, it has to be crazy. Like even that incident right there. Like, what do you tell your husband? What do you talk about when some? Hey, did you hear what happened to Bill and Monica? I mean, like, yeah, like you guys have to have some crazy stories behind the scene. You and your husband.
Yeah, there was a couple, like just hearsay ones, from the agents and all that, but nothing I can say.
Yeah, okay. We'll talk after the show.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, like you had such a extraordinary journey so far in life, and you have a heck of a lot more to go. What are you doing now? What are you doing now?
Now we live in the 55 and older community, me and my now husband, who is my soulmate, the love of my life. And we have our two dogs. We live in a home. We have a pool. I teach yoga at the community for free, but then I have my own kind of business in my garage where I do cycle classes. So I teach a cycling class in my garage, and then I do group personal training in my garage for my neighbors and friends. And my parents are right down the street, so I'm so lucky to have them down the street from me, like right around the corner. And we live life. I mean, he's retired. I'm basically not working and just doing fun things. We play a lot of pickleball, so once I'm able to play pickleball, I'll be out there again. And his mom is down the road, so he's actually getting her for dinner tonight. But just living life every day like it's your last, because tomorrow's not promised, and just trying to live the best life.
It sounds like you every day you wake up, you live the best life.
Yes.
I mean, what a extraordinary journey for you. I mean, wow. I'm just sitting here thinking, going to work every day. That's did you ever imagine that you would be in a situation right now, starting from a child to where you at now?
No.
You just says that so humble. But I can look at you and go, Andre, there's more. And I believe there is more because you're now thinking about doing your own podcast. Tell me about that and why the idea.
Now I do the Instagram. I've gotten some opportunities from them, from a fitness company, and I'm blessed to have that. And then now I'm just starting this whole TikTok thing, and just I have friends that do it, and just maybe try to sell products or promote products that I believe in, whether it's like skincare or anything, some type of exercise equipment or something that I believe in, but only things that I would do for free. Like if I would sell this product for free, that's how much I believe in it. So that, and then the whole podcast thing, like I'm brand new to all of this, but like the sky's the limit.
I'm gonna ask you this last question. What keeps that beast mindset going for you? Because I just see a never ending journey for you.
Yeah, I just believe that every day is going to be better than the next. Every year is going to be better than the next, and I can be better than before. I mean, with all these setbacks I've had and the pain I've endured, like both doctors, the hip doctor and the back doctor, were like, how did you deal with this? And I just did. I just thought, I tried the chiropractor. Like, why can't I bend over and tie my shoe? Well, I had hip dysplasia since birth. And it just got progressively worse and worse and worse, to the point where I would squat and my body would go like this. So I stopped working out. I lost a lot of muscle. Like I had a lot more muscle on me 5 years ago, but then I lost it because I stopped working out because it hurt. And then I
Mm.
got my hip done. And then I was like, okay, I'm good. And then sciatica came on. Then it went away. Then it came back and it didn't go away. And I went to the emergency room. The pain got so bad. I went to the infirmary on a cruise ship because it was so bad. And then I got on medication and it subsided it a little bit, but numbing and tingling down my right leg, and it just would never go away, even with the medicine. So then when I finally found out what was wrong with me, and it was my back, I had to get that fixed. And now I'm just praying that this is my last non-elective surgery.
Now, how are you mentally? I mean, I see a beautiful smile and energy. We know the mind and the body and the spirit goes hand in hand. How are you mentally?
Mentally, I'm great. I mean, I have a great support system in my husband, my parents, so many wonderful friends here around the neighborhood. Just, and they support me. And I just, I'm happy to wake up every day. Like I've never been happier in my life than I am now. I'll be 54 in what, 11 days? And I'm just excited. I wish I was 55 in 11 days.
Well, you know what? Happy early birthday from me
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you.
Now, my next question: how can the viewers reach out to you and support you and really know everything that you're about to embark on?
Well, on Instagram, I'm Asian Maven, but then on TikTok, I think it's Asian Maven as well. But I titled myself Crazy Fit Asian. Like, remember that movie Crazy Rich Asians?
I've never seen it, but I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, you have to watch. It's a pretty good movie, but it's called Crazy Rich Asians. But I named myself Crazy Rich Asian on TikTok, which I just started like 20 days ago.
Really? How's that going so far?
Pretty good. I'll probably hit 1,000 here in a few days by the way I'm going. And once you get 1,000, you can do the TikTok shop, which is promoting products. And this is, like I said, this is all new to me. I have no clue what I'm getting into, but one of my friends and neighbors is going to help me because she's very successful with promoting products for women over 62. Because she's 62 and she's gorgeous. And she had a lot of setbacks as well. So me being my age, and I think I look kind of young for my age, to just try to help women that are over 50 with fitness, with skin products, with nutrition, whatever I can do to help.
And I'm pretty sure you're going to be very successful at that. And once again, I want to say thank you so much for protecting our presidents, protecting our way of life, you and your husband and your family. If we can ever do anything here to help you in your career, we would love to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you subscribe, like, share, follow. Click that button. All it takes is one click to make a difference in someone's life or change you're on. This has been another, and I do mean another, exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Creighton Show.